All right, everyone. Country here this morning. What I'm going to show you today is I got another little project boat, and it's pretty much ready to go, but I got to make a few little adjustments on things and get it all ready. So, show you a few things on this boat today, so y'all stick around and see what all I'm going to show you. Well, camera's acting up. All right, got this little John boat here. I think it's a 14 foot. It's just one of the older ones from Academy that had the flotation back here added to it. Let me see what this thing actually is, what it says on the label. Where is the label? Well, I'll look at that in a minute, but see, it's got a brand new 212 Predator engine on a short tail twister. So I've kind of been wanting to build one of these for a while. This all runs, it all runs good, but it's not quite turning on like it should, so I know how to fix that. I know how to make it turn on, so that's what I'm gonna end up doing. See if I can get around here and see what this is exactly. This is a 10 horsepower motor. It's a 1432. Needs a little cleaning done on it. And painting. Trailer needs a little work. Got some wood crap up there for sideboards, but I won't fix that. Boards underneath probably has to be replaced. And check out this motor. So it's a little project. Let me see if I can get this motor to fire up and check it out a little bit, and then I'll show you what all I need to do on this motor then. Well, as it turns out, it wasn't revving up high enough. It wasn't acting right. So I said, well, I'm going to check the oil, and that's why it was loading back, and it wasn't exactly doing right, because it had too much oil in it. And see, when you run these motors like this, and they're at an angle, you're going to run a little less oil, not much. But when you check the oil, it should be like that. But I usually just make sure that when it's tilted like that, that none don't run out when it's like that, and it's fine. Well, that was one reason why it was kind of loading back. It had way too much oil in it. All right, that's what I had to do. I had to go in here and put some more oil on it. Let me see. I can give it the throttle. Got a good return spring. It's all popping back. Just keep working it with some WD-40 in it. That'll be fine. All right. Now, I gotta use both hands here, and I gotta see if I can start this thing up. Check it out now. All right, I made some adjustments here. It's not loading back.
shut-off switch ain't working.
There we go, it worked then. Might need a little oil in that too. So that's it. Yeah, I think I got it. Do a little more here to it. See what else I can do. Play with it a little bit. I think that's about how I want it to run. Alright, put a little oil in there. Let's see here. See if I can find a way to hold all this. Show you.
Starts on the first pull, and the breakaway shut off.
Yeah, it still needs a little oil in it. A little something in it. It did work just before I picked up the camera to show you. Maybe it needs a little bit more. That's about what I'm doing on that, but I'll get it to work.
Yeah, maybe it's working now.
Yeah, a little loose, it works pretty good. And then having a problem with it going back in there and being able to start. Let's pull it out.
There we go. Cranks on the first pull. I think I got all that. And we'll check out all this here. See what we can do and get a little bit more out of it.
All right, my next little step is this, whatever they call it, the stage 2 kit or whatever, but this Predator for the Ghost racing engine, the 212. And what I'm going to be using is the exhaust and the header. And I'll take the air box off and I'll use the air cleaner, the clamps. And one thing I found out is you got to have a fuel pump on these, because you'll get down to about half a tank of gas. The motor's at an angle and it won't pick up the gas and it won't be right. So we got to have a fuel pump on it. And it comes with plenty of fuel line and all. I'll probably use all the clamps. This is the carburetor and intake gaskets and head gasket. And I will use this intake and all when I put my Cooney on here and you can put my other throttle cable and all on. I won't be doing that right now. I'll be doing that later. And this head gasket is in there because you're supposed to tear it down, you disconnect the governor and all. And you really don't want to do that. The way we're going to be running these, you don't want to do that. Because you'll get way too many RPMs and the flywheel won't hold up. It'll explode on you. So if you got a billet flywheel, if you want to hot rod it out that much and get a billet flywheel and all that, you can do that. But about the only thing that you can do there on that is if you can get there's a little keyway for the flywheel that is offset, and it advances the timing about 1 degree or something like that. And that's a big help on that. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to use some parts out of here. And you get these parts out of here, you boost the horsepower about 15-17% or so. And it just runs better, breathes better, and do a lot better. So let me get this all lined out here, start putting it on. I'll show you all that. All right, got that big old muffler off of there where it won't hold it back where it can't breathe good. And you get a new gasket with the kit. I turn it the right way. Make sure and use the new gasket. All right, I'm gonna get all that on there. All right, got the header on, and I got to find her muffler. And it'll go on there with a big old clamp. And that gets that exhaust out of your face. It helps it breathe better. And everything just runs so much better when it can breathe. And if you can get that exhaust out of your face, you'll feel better. So let me get all my hardware here and put this muffler on. All right, header and muffler's on, and make sure and tighten that clamp as tight as you can, because that sometimes it wants to vibrate off on you. The muffler does. And I'm probably gonna put a couple tack welds on that one to hold it anyway. That's what happened. Next is to get that air box off of there. We take that air box off, and then we'll take this line here, comes loose. That's your crankcase breather, and that's what's gonna hook to the fuel pump. So we'll hook up the fuel pump, and we'll put our other air cleaner on there. All right, I want to put this better air filter on here, and the way to connect it. And probably saying right now, what the hell is that? What that is when I bought a Predator Ghost, it came with a Mikuni on it, and it had this on it. And I didn't like this intake, so I used the aluminum one that come in the box. So I was thinking about modifying this and putting it on where I could put my air cleaner on there. I don't know. I'm still working that out. I'll have it worked out in my head here in a minute. Alright, what I did was I just took my angle grinder with a cutting wheel and just sawed that one flange off. And now I've got to adapt this to my air filter. Think I'll be able to do it. We're going to find out. Alright, I wrapped it up with electrical tape to give the rubber something to grip to when I tighten that clamp down. It's just going to be sucking air in anyway, so now I'm going to make it come off. So, see here, I got to get some washers and all, and still got the nuts, but see what I can find here to go ahead and mount it now. Well, I went and dug through all my junk nuts and bolts, and about these plastic bushings or something. I'm going to try these and see if they work. I'm just going to have to cut it down a little bit. See if that works. Alright, got that all mounted up. Put the big air cleaner on it. So my little adapter worked. Now I've got to get in here to this fuel line, get the fuel line loose, and see if I can connect me a fuel pump. Down in there. Down in there somewhere. Cleaner on, fuel pump on. All the lines is hooked up. Now it's going to be time to fire it up. All right, here, let's see. Next thing I noticed is I don't know if you can see it or not, but that little nut right there, which is on your throttle right here. It's a little bit too tight for that twisty grip, and so I had to loosen that up. And sit out like this sometimes, and you see your throttle cable down in there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but anyway, this throttle cable gets a little water, and as far as that rainwater can run down that cable, it'll rust up and it'll get it in a bind. And you can just sit it up like this and get a little WD-40 running down through there and eventually get it to loosen up. But one thing I do know is these twisty grips, they don't work all that good. The best kind of throttle is the throttle that looks like a bicycle handbrake. Those are really the best. Those are really the best ones. And eventually that's what I'm going to put on there. But I'm just trying to free this up now until I can get a better throttle. Check this motor out and get it turning on. Okay. Oil it some too. That's where I'm at so far on this thing. So I'm gonna tinker with this a minute and see what I can do. All right, that's what I had to show you about the boat and the motor and all. Now I got to get to work on the trailer, and I'll show you a little bit of that, what I'm doing. Maybe be some good tips for some of you, how you build your bed on your trailer, your bunk for your boat, so it don't get all torn up on your rough roads. So that's about all I got this time. So y'all make sure to like, share, subscribe, give me that thumbs up. Gotta have that. Any questions or anything, just feel free to make comments. I try to answer everybody. So that's about all I got. I'll see y'all next time.